So I was just wanting to investigate. You know, it's like what's an intro look like? Like, well, how do people like structure their podcasts and stuff like that, right? Because you know we're 6 episodes in, Curtis. I think
we're
we
popping.
Can we call ourselves professionals?
What was that?
I don't know. I think it was the light of this thing.
Okay.
I'm starting to feel like we got the tech going, dude. I got to figure out the camera
Yeah.
as well, but we got the tech, we got that thing, dude. Like I feel like I can like.
We're gonna get a better camera though eventually, right?
Yeah, we'll get a better camera. Yeah.
When this is actually off the ground.
So I was looking at these podcasts, right? And you know, like people like start their podcast like this is the podcast and this is what it's about.
Yeah.
and then it goes for like 3 minutes, man. And then they say like, okay, my name is Nathan. I'm like a business entrepreneur. I've been in Forbes. I'm like a multi-millionaire. You know, that's what they all do. And like we're just sitting here, just talking crap.
Chilling. Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think this is a more wholesome, it's a more authentic way of just doing it.
But if we were to say, right, that made me think. It's like, how do we describe what's our podcast about?
Well, again, it's just like hot takes on popular league topics.
Is it really though?
That, as well as like insight into the competitive side of League of Legends and solo queue, high performance in general. Yeah. It's like a mixed bag, isn't it? It's a mixed bag of a lot of different things. Like I couldn't even tell you.
But that's the thing. Like we can't say.
It's like multiple sentences.
Like everyone has like this nice little like catchphrase. It's like, this is the podcast where we teach you how to grow your podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to say. I mean, maybe that's something we'll figure out. Because I'm viewing this like my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
When I first started my YouTube channel, I had no idea what it was going to be about. I had a vague idea, but if you look at my first videos, I had one on like team fighting, one on how to play support.
Yeah, like a VOD review of like a pro game.
I did a VOD review of a pro game. I didn't know whether this was going to be mid lane specific. I had no idea if it was going to be on support. I thought it was just going to be about League of Legends in general.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
And then I realized
you found its identity eventually.
I found but just through doing videos.
Yeah.
And like figuring out what was good for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way this podcast is going to go. Like we'll probably get to like 20, 30, 40, 50 episodes and be like, all right, we're starting to kind of hit our stride. And
then we can find what we're going to do. But I feel like, I keep thinking about it. It's like, I don't know how I would ever describe it.
Yeah.
But and also it made me think, it's like, how would you describe yourself? Like all I do is hate Nathan up when you become a better jungler.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. Like I'm not like a tech entrepreneur, like, you know, marketing wizard, like League of Legends pro player. You know what I mean? Like that's not, I don't
know, man. Let's go with the flow.
You know,
go with the flow. If I can provide value to people, and help them view the game in a different way.
It doesn't matter what you are, right?
Doesn't matter at the end of the day, right? I mean, yes, we've done some pretty cool things in the past, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway,
just thought we're behind the curve, Curtis. Like we got this intro. It's like, that's a professional podcast. Well, what's our podcast?
Yeah, I want to keep it more chill though. I don't want it to be super. That's what I don't like about a lot of podcasts. Like, and a lot of shows. Like the diet, too professional. Like I want to be able to sit here and say things that, you know, maybe the average person wouldn't be able to say. I want to say I want to talk about controversial topics.
We're gonna piss some people off with this podcast.
I'm not saying anything here to keep people happy because it's all, you know, just me and you just chilling on a couch. You know, that's what I like about it. But anyway, where did you want to kick off today?
Well, I think we got to officially start the intro, Curtis.
Okay, so welcome to another episode. We're up to episode 6 of Broken by Concept.
And yeah, welcome to the show.
That's it.
now we've confused it because we just spoke for 10 minutes about how to do an introduction for a podcast.
All right, let me start. All right, so I want to kick off with one topic here. I've got so many interesting things to talk about today.
Okay.
But out of all of these ones...
Actually, I quickly want to touch on something real quick first, by the way. Because you just released that video, the
micro one.
The micro one.
Tethering, yeah.
The tethering one. And like... obviously we talked about it, but I just want you to just emphasize, you know, your first line, I've done a disservice to the community.
That's correct.
Like explain, because I've read some of the comments of the video this morning and people were like, no, Curtis, don't worry, you haven't done a disservice to the community.
I don't even want sympathy though.
No, we don't want sympathy.
I don't do it to get sympathy.
Again, it's like, why?
I mean, I feel like I've done a disservice to the community. Okay, so bringing it back to a more fundamental level, whenever I think about making a video, I always try to bring it back to... how is this going to make someone a better player? How is it going to help them on their own solo queue journey? Or how is it going to help them get results? Results at the end of the day is literally winning games and getting better at the game. So
yeah, you think about that for every video. So then why didn't you think about this why did it take you so long?
Well, a I mean, since we've been playing the game for so long and just games in general, there are things that we just take for granted. Like, they're just so ingrained, or things we spoke about years ago that we forgot about.
Yeah.
And that's just a part of my play.
Got it.
But it's such a fundamental ingrained
You just
thing.
take it for granted, or just be like, oh, that's just a given.
Yeah, I just
But
thought that
it's
was a
not.
given.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen enough people playing. And then after doing my coaching sessions and things like that, it made me realize how bad people's micro was. And it's actually, I've done a disservice to the community by not emphasizing the importance of having good micro. So if the way I thought about it is, if there's a 17-year-old kid, 16-year-old kid watching my channel, yes, all of the information on there about, side lane awareness, jungle tracking, warding, wave management, trading patterns, this jungle champion identity, all this stuff is extremely important as well, but it's all built off the foundation. The foundation, it's like when building a house, you have the foundations of a house, is solid micro. Micro is number one.
Yeah. But it's just funny to me. It's like, because even for me, like, I just overlooked it so much. But I even looking at VODs, I'm like, well, this is just a different game. Like, I'm playing, like, this guy's playing a different game to what he could have been playing if you just play that fight better.
Yeah, and you can't even comprehend what the results will be of having good micro in the long run.
Yeah.
Like,
in the long run in a game, or just overall?
Overall, like, the amount of skirmishes that you're going to come out, the more opportunities you're going to see, the better the quality of trades you're going to take. Everything. The game completely changes. But that's fine. And then what happens? You build upon that. Because then once you got your good micro down pat, you feel very comfortable with your character control. Your clicks are very solid. Click accuracy, click speed, that sort of thing. Then you can build off that. Then you can start to implement all these other things. But I felt like I did genuinely do a disservice to the community by not emphasizing the importance of it.
Ages ago.
Should have been one of my first videos. When I did my mid lane fundamentals series, and which is one of my most popular videos of all time, that whole series.
What did you start with out of curiosity for that?
Trading.
Before
Trading.
That's micro, isn't it? Or there's more like the theory,
that's like the theory of
trading.
trading.
Got it.
Then before that, I should have actually done micro, just straight up click accuracy, just clicking, how to click properly. So yeah, that I felt terrible. And then when I realized, like, the people could have gotten way better results from my channel. They spent the time.
If they understood how important, or if you taught them how to click accuracy
and the great thing about it is it's the attention to detail that's important.
The mindset.
The mindset behind focusing on your micro is probably even more important than the micro itself. It's the ability or the intention behind, okay, I need to really pay attention to these small details because this is equally important to all these macro game concepts. So, yeah, I felt terrible when I made that. I mean, I felt terrible for not making it earlier, and I genuinely wanted to let the community know, I'm sorry. And that's going to, again, stress the importance of the video. That's what I wanted to get across in the video, how important this really was. And yes, people are going to say that, like, you're going to say that every video, or like, that's what YouTubers do. They want you to watch their videos, but that's not me. I mean, I didn't even want to put it in the title because I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
I don't like saying you have to watch this video, although I've done it for like
must watch video.
But I did that for the runes, like the only runes video you need, because I genuinely felt like it was the only runes video or the only itemization video you need.
So watch that video, you're done.
Yeah, you genuinely, that's all you need to know. But yeah, anyway, that's like kind of the backstory to that. Does that make sense?
Yep, I just wanted just to be clear.
Has anyone on your Discord watched that video yet?
I linked it. I said, you guys got to watch this.
Oh, cool.
Like, even though for jungle it's not as important for the laning aspect, but it's just again emphasizing, like, I just want to show that, especially the examples you have, like the knight example, it's like, like you're winning trades, or the game's just different, even though it should theoretically not look like it should win.
And it's good to know what beautiful micro looks like.
What's the best?
What's the best, and then work backwards.
Like, how can I achieve that?
I like that. And it always ties back to how you should get good at any skill in life. You should see what a master is, or a master of this specific skill, and then you break it down into specifics. Then that's what I do in the video. I break it down to, here's how you improve click accuracy. Here's how you improve click speed. Here's some exercises that you can do. Here's specifically some exercises you can do for improving your matchup knowledge.
Got it.
So just breaking it down into very specific.
Simple.
That's so
Focus
good,
on
though.
one thing at a time. It's not just like have amazing mechanics. It's like, well, these are the steps.
I hate that as well. This guy just has good micro. Like, what does that mean? And how do I get that? That's why I wanted to make it very practical. I think that's the difference between me and your content, by the way, is that we try to keep things in a very, like, pragmatic as possible.
I try and make things, again, if you can't, It's like quote. It's like if you can't explain it super simply, like you don't understand it well enough. Like I try every single concept I try and get away. It's like, how can I explain this as simple as possible? How can I shorten the words? That's it.
I love it. I love it. All right.
All right, let's get into your topic.
Get into
now.
my topics.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a few things here, but okay, this might open a can of worms here, but I'm excited to hear your opinion on this.
All right, I'm ready.
So, me and you,
Yeah.
across our time in Direwolves,
Yep.
how many times across those 3 years, or even before that, how many times were we approached by a data analytics company, some, like Shadow GG?
Oh,
We were approached by a ridiculous amount of them, right? Am I correct in saying that?
yeah.
Over the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I saw a Reddit post recently
Okay.
where it was like, okay, where there's small little, we've been working on this program for the past year, part-time, and it's just basically, all it does is it goes into the right API of Korea, EU, and NA and tracks all the jungle pathing knowledge, and then puts it into this is the most common path for this champion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, few threads we can pull on here.
Okay.
I would say the first one is, what is your take on data in League of Legends in general? So that's one. And then the second one I want to go off is, what's your opinion on just third-party programs in general in League of Legends? And yeah, how important is it essentially, and what is your take on it essentially?
Okay. Well, I'm always scared. Okay. I mean, in general, I don't like talking about things I don't fully understand, right? I've never, ever been a data guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to just start with here. It's like
we're not data
we're not
analysts
data.
anymore.
Like, me and you, we're just like idiots when it comes to this, you know? But I still think we have merit in what we say. Like, I think it's good to look at our perspective because we're just like complete opposite other end. We just want like the
most pragmatic thing possible. Yes.
I don't care about the data, but even though the data is important, I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay. But obviously League of Legends, to its, I would say, benefit, but also detriment, there's too much data, right? It's not like in traditional sports where it's like, it's a bit much different. Like, you're not playing in a virtual world. It's like this person runs this far, this person, kicks with this. Like, I mean, I don't even know what data.
I'm sure there is a lot of data, but it's not.
But it's not as much as you possibly could have.
World,
like League's got ridiculous amount of data. Like every game probably has more data than like the average.
You couldn't even say. We don't even know.
Maybe like they're more data than 10 like NFL games or something like that. Something like that.
Could even be
crazy.
To be honest with you, it could even be like one league game could even have more data than a whole year of NFL games potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
So again, that's good. But then people, I mean, we've always said this, like me and your conversation. It's like, well, what do you make of it? Like, how does that become? Because at the end of the day, we want it to have an outcome that's beneficial to make it play better, right? And that's what these companies will try and do. It's like, all these startups. They'll be like, well, we want to do jungle tracking. It's like, this is an efficient way we can quickly do the API and we can see this guy's path in. I think that's at most simple. Like, that's pretty potentially useful. I've never really thought of it. I've never actually used mine.
For you then, if you were to get information about pathing,
I know, I get asked this all the time. I don't know, man.
And that's what I'm saying. If we don't know how to use it, how can the average person use it? And this time's my take on it is like, okay, League is way too dynamic as a game. It's not a static game. There's too many factors at play. The game isn't... Okay, the rules change all the time in League, essentially. I mean, not the rules, but the ground in which it's played. So through patches, through meta shifts, through just straight up numbers in the game. Like literally every patch, numbers literally change. The way the actual coding of the minions changes. Again, it's like this. There was a pre-season change where cannons are going to attack faster and things like that. The game literally changes. Yes, data is relevant, but I'm just thinking in very pragmatic terms. How is one able to use it to influence their decision making
in a game?
Because this is where it came down to Shern. I remember I brought this specific statistic to Shern Fire heading into a grand final.
Yeah,
I said to him from an analyst, this was the statistic. It said, I can't remember the player. Let's just say Barbip.
Yeah.
Barbip does this path on Nidalee 85% of the time.
Yeah.
You can't.
Oh, that hurts.
You
That
can't-
actually hurts because the
You
win
can't do
conditions
that.
changed every game. Like, I got a path, I got a path. I'm versing a Sejuani, or I'm versing a Lee Sin after respect, or should I punish them?
It doesn't make
like,
sense.
It's literally a use.
It's a useless stat.
Completely useless.
Yes, they might even do that path 95% of the time, but what about that 5%?
That one game, yeah.
You can't. You can't look at it.
Wait, did you actually say he did a path 85% of the time?
That's what the data. One of the analysts gave me.
Dude, that's even weird to me.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. This is what this sort of thing is.
Okay.
This is the most common path.
Yeah.
There's no background information about why. In what games would you change?
Yeah, I mean,
what variables are you taking into account? How does this change given the champs in the game, given the lane states? You can't, even if you have a statistic that would say, 85% of the time, a Rek'Sai in platinum and above will do this path. What the fuck am I meant to do with that?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's the opposite. People do ridiculous paths that make no sense sometimes.
You got to be able to adapt. You got to be able to keep an open mind. Yes, you can have an assumption, but okay, most likely he will do that path. But you can't just write off in your head, oh yeah, he's going to do that path, so I can just do this. No, you still got to ward and look for paths. You still got to keep in mind that he could do some unique
lane
different
priority.
path.
Can I even look to go there? Like, I might have to adapt my path real quick because like this lane's just not gankable anymore.
Even if you think 85% of the time, he could just completely do like, instead of doing like as Rek'Sai, instead of doing
here's an
3
example.
camp bot side, he can just do like 3 camp top side.
Here's an example from Plains. I was going to make a video on this, but I didn't actually.
Yeah.
Remember the Cacao's path on
Cacao
Hecarim?
path, yeah.
All right, Hecarim versus Nidalee. Hecarim is a very good 5-camp jungle. You want to get your Krugs and Raptors off the map because you're very good at doing those. But because he's against a Nidalee, he can get pressured really hard. He wants to just do his red-blue Gromp. So there's actually very little counterplay for Nidalee. And then he can go back and do his Wolves, Raptors, Krugs. I would never recommend that path to anyone in solo queue.
Yeah.
It's only purely because it's a competitive game.
Wait, to slow it down for the people who don't understand jungle pathing, essentially what's going on here is that Hecarim really wants to get off a full clear.
Yeah.
But Nidalee's very good at invading into the Hecarim's jungle to kill him because Nidalee can do he can do vertical jungles very well, and his early skirmishing, like level 2, level 3, is really strong because he can just auto people down with auto attacks with red buff, and chase people down and things like that.
And Hecarim traditionally doesn't want to do red blue Gromp because that's for machete junglers. He's a talisman.
Jungler, yeah.
So he's very bad at doing those camps.
So essentially, what happened? Cacao had to do this very unique path to defend himself from the potential invade, and even though Nidalee didn't do it, he still had to do it just in case.
That's right.
Like risk, safety. So what I'm saying and what I'm trying to get at here is that, like, I think that data in League, it's still a very new thing. And I believe it will be an important part of League in the future. Kind of like Moneyball, with baseball and how they utilize data.
Yep.
I think there is a lot there to do with scouting players as well.
That's more scouting players. That's not, again, are we framing this conversation
I'm just saying data in general. Yes, jungle pathing was just an example,
okay,
and which I think is kind of useless. And I actually think it's actually, to be honest with you, I think all these third-party programs like Porofessor, Blitz.gg, even like Mobalytics.
Wait, what's Mobalytics? Oh, there's this one thing I hate seeing on people's screens. It's like, this is the CS per minute.
I hate that so much.
And you got to try to get to that CS per minute.
I think all those programs, okay, I don't want to say that they're not good, but there are some elements that are good. Okay. I think Mobalytics has some...
Okay, for who? For professional players or for the average player?
No, for the average player. I even think for the average player, there are some elements of Mobalytics specifically that I think are good. But it's the way you frame it. And what I get scared of, and whenever I talk to people and they ask me about... They say things like, Curtis, can you take a look at my Mobalytics?
Oh, so people actually say that?
Yeah, people literally say that to me
before.
And
what are they asking? What are you looking for?
They say, like, what do you think about my stats here? What is this telling you? Like, where do you think I should direct my focus? And I just think that, like,
what are the options, out of curiosity?
I mean, it tells you if you're, like, too aggressive and, like, if you're dying too much and things like that. But it's not... Yes, it's a very, very decent base level thing to kind of tell you, yes. You don't need a program. You can literally look at your match history and say you're dying too much. You don't need to have a program that's telling you you're dying too much. Now, I just think it's getting people to focus on the wrong things.
Yeah, that's the danger behind it.
It's the danger. It's like okay, cool. And I've heard so many people say, look at my OPGG score and look at my KDA and like look at my all these stats, and like Mobalytics says I'm the perfect player or whatever it is. It's like I don't care about that stuff. The only stats to me that are meaningful for the average player, CS per minute,
okay,
and death count, I would say is pretty a pretty big one.
Wait, but you said you didn't like the little thing on the side saying your CS per minute.
No, not in game. After the game.
Oh, after the game.
CS per minute.
So, yeah.
As the average, your average CS per minute.
Yeah.
Across all games.
Yep.
Deaths, and like that's it. I don't care about kills. I don't really care about assists. I don't care about damage dealt.
Yeah,
I don't care about
yeah.
presence on the map. I don't even care about wards placed. I literally don't even care about any of that. All I care about is CS per minute and deaths. Okay, because they're very obvious markers, and they're things that are very important, like just lowering your deaths, and increasing your CS per minute. But again, even then, just because you have a high CS per minute doesn't even mean you're playing the game right. For me, that says this person might just play like a bitch and CS under tower, give all pressure, and then lets the enemy just roam. And if a person...
They have 0 deaths, but like they did nothing to win the game.
Yeah, or maybe a person who has low CS actually has low CS because they're trading overly aggressive. Then all I view it as is a marker to look deeper.
Got it. So it's like, that's the first thing, but it's like, you're not a good or a bad player because of
it's nothing to do
it's
if
like,
you're a good or bad player. Let's get way more specific here.
It.
What is happening because of this? Just because you see a number doesn't tell you, it doesn't really give you anything specifically what you're doing good or bad. And I feel like the focus on mobalytics and all these like statistics are dragging people away from the in-game
decision making.
Yeah, decision making. And there are a lot of games where you're not going to be able to get great CS per minute. You're not going to be able to prevent yourself from dying because it's a very fast-paced, chaotic style game, right? Maybe given your champion identity, you can't have you're playing Katarina, you're not going to have 8 CS per minute. You know, you're not going to have all these stats anyway. Some of my greatest games played in League of Legends, I have the lowest damage dealt, but my presence on the map is so high.
Yeah, I literally did a live game review with one of my coaching clients. Literally like perfect game, like 270 CS at 23 minutes or whatever. The first thing he said, well, Nathan, look at my damage those games, his lowest damage in the game, but he put out a lot of pressure. He defended his lanes, he did really good control wards, and he was max efficient. He was an insurance, basically it was a game where all his team was scaling. All he had to do was not
be an insurance policy
to back up, and that's a perfect game for that specific game.
Yeah.
But maybe another game he has to shoot.
So I love that because it's so much more specific. League is all about the details. And it's all about being very specific to each game. Your role in one game is going to be completely different sometimes in the next game. If I play Orianna, for example, so I've been watching a lot of Dopa's Orianna to see what he's been doing because he's been having a lot of success on the Korean Challenger Soloq ladder, right? And Dopa, the way he plays Orianna is it's a very niche way of playing. He does basically the same thing every single game. He goes, this very aggressive page. He'll go Scorch. He'll go Time Warp Tonic with Biscuits. And he'll start Corrupting Pot. He'll go attack speed with double resistances. He'll go attack speed armor or attack speed MR.
Wait, is that matchup dependent? Is like
if he was using AD or AP, but he never goes adaptive force anymore for some reason. Anyway, he trades very aggressively and bases around like level 4, level 5 for a Dark Seal and a Doran's Ring every single game, right? And this style of playing is super fast paced, super aggressive. And he always takes TP, essentially. And it's just a very unique way of playing Orianna. It's not playing for the 1300 gold Lost Chapter Power Spike. He only ever goes Ludens, never goes the Archangel's build, always basically goes Morello second, which a lot of people say is bad, but Dopa goes it every single game. Doesn't matter if he needs the healing reduction or not, because again, it gives you a decent amount of HP and burst and things like that. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at here is the average person playing, I mean, you got to understand the context of why he's doing what he's doing. If you're playing Orianna like this in gold, you're probably not going to have that much success. But the reason he does that is because in Challenger, Korean, high elo solo queue, the junglers are incredibly high pace. Fights are breaking out everywhere. You need to be able to exert this pressure on the map because you can't afford to play solo as Orianna because the game just explodes. So I just think what Mobalytics is doing is at least not targeting Mobalytics. I do think there are benefits to Mobalytics, but I think just the way we need to use it is very different. And there needs to be a lot more education around it.
Education, I think that's the key one.
Education's the key here.
Because there's too many things, as well as even OPGG, it says this is the best build in this rank. Like, but it's like, I look at it, it's like, well, you got to adapt your runes every game.
Like, I would love to do a piece with Mobalytics on how I would use the program.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. Like, if Mobalytics reached out to me, like, I would love to do something with them saying, this is how I would recommend using. These are the stats that I think are important for this X player at X rank to look at, and why.
Yep.
And the mindset behind it, the way you got to view it. Okay, and I'm just scared, man. There's so many people overcomplicating their league improvement. Like,
absolutely, people
there's overcomplicating shit. You don't need to overcomplicate it, man.
That's the story of everyone. Like someone can like have this crazy theory about why they should have pathed one direction. I'm like, it's actually a lot more simple. I could simplify that in 3 nice little key options.
Yeah,
and that's why not. But everyone loves to. I don't know if it's whether it's because sometimes they want to feel smart about the game. But again, going back to what I said originally in the first thing here is that you always if you can't explain things simple enough, you don't fully understand it.
Yeah. The smartest people are able to explain things extremely simply. Back to the data thing. It would be very interesting to see how data is used to scout players, because I think that would be a massive...
That's probably the first thing that I would think is that's going to be, I'd say really important in terms of the way data is used in League, but again, from the pro scene. Again, the way that I always view data, like I would never, like all my like gold, plat, even diamond coaching clients, I never would tell them anything about data.
Yeah, data I think is a challenger thing. It's a pro level thing.
I would not go there at all.
One thing, if we were to look at challenger players though, if I were to scout for a player as a mid laner, one thing that I would really want to see is, I love this stat where it says presence on the other side of the map. So it's
I like that. Yeah, that's
there's
good.
like a stat where it tells you like their presence in the enemy jungle.
That makes sense.
And their presence in like how often are they pushing past the halfway point?
I'd love to see that, because
that's like a really cool stat.
A jungler example, let's say I begin the game, like I actually that would be really really handy if I just knew that instantly from the get go. It's like, this is my win condition. This is like this side I wanted to play towards, and then this thing tells me, well, he only spent 20% of the time there. Like, that's great. Then I could actually figure it out. I would actually already have that perception in my head going to the review, and it'll make me things very quickly, versus at 10-minute mark, I'm like...
Wait, so you're saying that what you would want to know information about from a jungler's perspective, how often they are at a specific area in the map?
Of the map. Based on their original win condition.
Okay, got you.
That's useful.
Yeah, but I was talking more specific. I was talking more like overall, like as a player, to say how aggressive they are.
Okay, got it.
So like if they're...
so you're talking about like past...
Yeah.
Sorry, past the mid lane.
Yeah.
Like it's like them side, them
like
minions.
how often are they... How often are they getting pressure, essentially?
Got it. Yeah, actually, that's useful. Got it.
So if they're getting pressure a lot, it says either they're taking really good trades, or they know how to play the map well.
And then if they're really pushed up all the time, but they're not getting anything from it, you can figure out then why. It's like, why aren't you roaming, or why...
Then you could use that as an indicator to go a little bit deeper. Like, are they pushing unnecessarily when they should be freezing in the early game, Like what... that's where... I just think that there is a place of data. I think right now, though, we need to figure out how to better utilize it, and the education around it needs to be much better.
And it's all about using it as just the beginning, but then you always go deeper.
Exactly. So... we'll put a pin on that. I reckon that's a topic we'll probably have to come back to.
Yeah.
And I want to do more research on these programs.
I actually will. I'm going to look into mobility.
Let's look into mobility.
That's the main one that people talk about. That's actually like people say it's good.
Yeah. So let's actually look into it more, and let's talk about how we would use it as players at certain ranks. Yeah. I think that is, you would have to break it into certain ranks. Anyway. I have a lot of topics here, Nathan. So, I can either go into another one, or you can kick into yours.
Well, let's do fair, Curtis. 1-1.
1-1. All right.
All right. Have you had players come to you say, Curtis, I'm just not motivated to play ranked?
Yes, I get this all the time. Actually, it's actually one of my most common.
Really?
DMs? Yeah, it's actually up there with one of my most common DMs.
And this is, so I've thought a lot about this, and because I get it common a lot as well. It's like I've just lost that motivation to play ranked or just League in general, and like they either just watch it or they just like sort of fade away and quit, right?
Yeah.
So
we got to put a static image when that happens, right?
Yeah, when the camera stops like that, I'll do a static image.
No, I got an idea for the static image.
Oh, really?
I'll explain to you later. Anyway,
okay. Go on. Back to the motivation thing.
Yeah, back to motivation.
So I think that what it needs to start with is, why do you play League? This is how I've navigated this question. Why do you play League? And then there's a couple of categories. The first category is you play because you're incredibly competitive driven. You want to be a professional player one day, right? That's not everyone. At the end of the day, there's millions of people that play. There's only like 100 people, that per region that are probably potentially a professional player, like
Yep.
getting full time, right? Someone that has maybe been playing the game for a while and just wants to like rank up, sort of as a challenge themselves.
Personal. It's kind of like a personal development journey.
A little personal goal. It's like, okay, I'm gold. I want to get to platinum.
Yep.
You know, like they don't play that much. Like they still have their job and like all that sort of stuff, school. But they're like, you know, I want to challenge myself and get to this. I've been playing the game for a lot. I feel like I know a lot about the game. I want to get to that next level. Right.
I think that's where most people fall into. I would say personally. But anyway, go on.
Third category, I would say, is players that I don't want to say for fun, but you know, they're really playing League to say relax after like a day's work, or like they play with their friends a lot.
Well, that's to be honest, that's probably the most common.
I think as well, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like because there's a lot of unranked people. We know that, right?
We know that. We've actually saw the stat. We saw the stat somewhere. There was like more players that played unranked than they played ranked or something. It was ridiculous.
There you go, right? So that, and then there's probably another fourth category I've been thinking about, people that are straight up just addicted to League of Legends.
Okay.
And this is the murky one where like...
And where they don't have a goal.
They just play because they're just playing because they have nothing. They're just... Okay. Like they have... Potentially like they're just bored, or like they feel like they've invested so much time in League like they can't quit.
Okay.
Like this is probably a problem. Like someone that's like a problem, like an actual addiction.
Okay.
You know, it's like they're actually getting rid of like things they need to do in real life. It's like self-sabotage mode, and just playing League like, you know, 18 hours a day,
right.
You know, all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
And, you know, going up and down, winning 10 games in a row, losing 10 games in a row, all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Is there any other categories?
I think off the top of my head, I think that's all of them. Yeah.
Is there another one where people just don't know why they play? Let's say someone that don't know why they play, where would they go into? I feel like that...
No, I feel like they...
Where would they categorize into?
Those people, then they would do introspection and then they would fall into one of those categories.
Okay.
I reckon... I don't think they're like solid black and white categories though. I feel like you could be a bit of both. Like there's gray areas that fade in between, you know?
Maybe someone that comes back and plays every so often, but then does like real life stuff.
Yeah, they're actually really common. But okay. I would say theirs is a combination of fun plus personal goal.
Got it.
Plus they like the competitive element of the game. There's like, there's layers, or there's like a spectrum. I feel like a color spectrum. Like you can kind of be in between them all. And sometimes you can go through phases. You might actually really want to achieve a certain goal during this time period, and then once you hit that goal, you just turn back into like a fun player, you know? That's what I've seen as well. Okay,
that's true. Yep, I've seen that as well. So, yeah, I think that to answer this question, we first need to start with why do you play League of Legends? And I think everyone needs to really ask themselves that question. Again, especially, I'm most worried for the people that are in the addiction phase, you know, that sort of absolute like addicted, and it's, you know, putting things off, right? So categorize yourself into one of those. And then I think that can really, your level of motivation, like, all right, let's say for you and me, Curtis.
Right.
Which category are we?
Well, no, I think the first thing we need to settle here is that it's okay not to play ranked.
Okay, that's true. Yeah.
It's a misconception that you have to play ranked.
We push that a lot. I mean, I push that all the time. If you're not playing ranked, you're not getting better at the game.
Yeah, but not everyone wants to get better at the game.
That's right.
And which I think ties back into that question, why are you playing ranked? So I think that's the first thing. Because I always bring it back to, if you're not having fun playing the game,
that's important. That's very
why are
very
you playing?
Important. That's right.
Then that's where I feel like it comes into that addiction phase. Yeah. Because I talk to a lot of players like that, you know, they just say I don't enjoy the game anymore, or like I don't enjoy playing ranked. It's fine to not play ranked for a while. Maybe you need to take a break. Come back in 3 weeks. Come back in a month, 2 months, with a refresh mentality. And that sort of thing. It's okay not to play ranked. That's the first thing. You don't always have to play ranked, okay?
That's true.
But for me and you, I would say that, I mean, for me anyway, I don't want to speak on your behalf, but for me, it's a personal goal. I mean, I like the competitive element of the game, but the main thing is I want to see what I'm capable of. Like, I like the challenge of getting challenger. That, for me, my goal is I want to be challenger every season from now on. Like, that's my goal. And in order to get that goal, I have to play a lot and I have to push myself. And
you have to be pretty competitive.
You have to be very competitive. Yeah, I agree. So I'd say it's a combination between the two: personal development, setting a personal goal for myself and being very naturally competitive.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for me. It's definitely by far just one, just pure competition.
Yeah.
I play this game. I just got to be the best.
Okay.
You know, that's just it. I guess like some sort of, but again, there's no achievement. There's no satisfaction or personal achievement if I'm not the best. You know, it's like challenge is not enough for me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's when I started playing League. I was like, season 3, I'm just going to be rank 1. You know, I got rank 2.
Right.
I was close. But I wasn't thinking like I'm doing it to be challenger. No, I'm just going to be better than everyone else. And I just happened to be rank 2, challenger.
So the way I navigate this, generally the way I navigate this problem with people is, first thing I'll say a lot of the time is, it's not my... It's on you, man. Like
I can't just motivate.
Yeah. We're not here to give you
speech.
motivation.
Yeah.
I feel like at the end of the day, we're not... I don't even believe that motivation should come from someone else. I think maybe we can ask you a question that can set you on the right track.
I think that's important because I would say that a lot of the people that join, you know, my Soul 2 coaching program, they're way more motivated to play League because they have direction.
Yeah, which ties into
them direction.
This is the way. This is my answer to the thing. Is I always say this: what is your goal? Connect to your goal, and this is what we said in Dials. And I tried to bring it back to all the time was, why are you doing this? But specifically, let's visualize your end goal and get excited about it. Remember, excitement is one of the most, like, excitement overcomes fear. So, was one of my favorite concepts. I used this when I was coaching. When players were nervous and scared heading into a competitive match, you can't think your way out of being nervous and scared.
Yeah, absolutely not.
There's no way. It's so powerful.
You can only ever feel one emotion at a time.
Yeah,
right?
and you can only ever feel one emotion, right?
So you're either excited or you're scared.
And the easier a more powerful emotion than like nervousness and fear is actually excitement, or it's equally powerful. And if you reframe in your mind, and this is actually what you guys can use this for your Soloq games, heading into a rank game, rather than going, oh man, this guy's like good. I'm like scared. I might lose this promo, this stuff. You should frame it as, what a great opportunity to like express my best self here. What a great, like, I'm so glad. I'm so happy that I'm able to like spend the time here. I have the time. I have the ability to sit here and play and express my best self, regardless of what happens. I have the opportunity to show what I'm made of. Let's actually go out there and show what I'm capable of. Let's show people what I can do and prove to myself what I can actually do. Like, you got to reframe it to what gets you excited. Okay.
What about making fun, humor of the situation as well? Like getting fun, like you know, it's like watching Doyen B play, you know, on stream highlights. Like, is he excited or is he just having so much fun? Like, he's like making fun of situations, like outplaying people.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I think that's a way. I think that's difficult for people to do, but if you do have that personality, I think it's possible. But I always, again, try the motivation thing. I always try to tie it back to what excites you, what gets you excited, what gets you. If you were to wake up in the morning and like, or when you first wanted to play League, like, what really got you pumped up to play ranked? Was it getting a specific rank? Was it being able to win that certain competition with your friends? Was it able to win that LAN tournament? Was it able to become a collegiate level player? Win Clash? You got to connect with that, because when you're in the shit, you need something to like aim towards. You need a goal. And people a lot of the time lose sight of their goals because they're so short-minded.
It's just another ranked game.
They just think of the next game rather than like...
My teammates are going to suck and here we go again, you know?
Bring it back to, what am I trying to achieve here?
I think that's the way you...
And then for some people, they're really not excited. They don't really care about a specific goal or an outcome, and that's completely fine, in which maybe you need to reconsider what you're trying to get out of the ranked experience. Maybe you shouldn't even play ranked. Maybe you should be a normal flex queue player, play with friends, play Clash. That's completely fine as well.
Yep.
That's what I love about League. There's so many things for everyone, you know, out there. I mean, that's the way I try.
ARAMs as well, I guess.
There's ARAMs. Yeah. The game's super fun. To be honest, there's actually been a few times in my career playing League where I'm like, I would be happier not playing the game. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
That has happened to me a few times.
Which times period? Is this when you were a pro player before, or?
I mean, I would say this is before I did my YouTube channel. And like, even, kind of before coaching. Yeah. This is before when I had a purpose. Like, before I was a head coach and before like
before you're just taking your job. I mean, for me and you, it's hard because
this is our livelihood.
This is hard for me. And this is why, you know, I really sort of refrain from giving advice because I can't really relate anymore because I mean, League's literally just a job for us for the last 6-7 years.
Yeah, literally.
So we whether I'm motivated or not, I've got to play the game.
Do it. Yeah,
I got to do it.
Yeah, and for me though, before those moments where the game was a job, I did question a lot. I'm like, why am I playing?
Yeah.
Like, especially when I got tilted after a game or got frustrated when I was younger. I was
just angry for no reason.
I was angry. I was like, if I wasn't playing League right now,
I'd be so much happier.
I would be so much happier. I'm sure there's things I could be doing better with my time.
Yeah.
And that's where I actually think I might have been, there's a combination of slightly addicted, but also obsessed and competitive and driven to like achieve a goal.
It's just a whole cocktail.
There's a cocktail of things going on there. And then I was able to kind of like get through the other side. And I mean, I'm so glad I never gave it up because I think that this is the greatest game ever made. League of Legends is the greatest game ever made, in my opinion, in terms of just an entire experience.
Ability to learn how to learn.
Learning how to learn. I mean, personal, like becoming a better version of yourself, learning more about yourself, being able to set a challenge.
Control your emotions.
Everything, man. It's literally the perfect game. And it's the perfect balance of fun, but challenging. You got to be able to be adaptable. It like ticks every box for a beautiful game. And it changes all the time. I love it.
We love League of Legends.
Yeah, we do. I love League of Legends.
So, yeah.
Does that answer that question?
Yeah. I think, so to summarize it, no, we're not going to say anything to motivate you. Figure out why you're playing. Have a goal.
Ask yourself those questions. Why are you playing? What do you want to get out of it? And what do you get like connect with your goal? And a lot of people, what excited a lot of people was like those world hype videos. They love it and they want to just like get to that level of play.
Yeah, I love it the way Riot do it as well. It's like there's like
the average person.
Yeah, the average person can be. It's like the Warriors one
it's so
and
cool.
the Takeover. I
love that. I got so hyped.
It's like you get to see this journey. It's like that could be you.
Go into those local LAN tournaments and then go into the collegiate, then pro, and then I love that. Going to Worlds, that's so cool. That journey, it's really cool.
It's a brutal journey, man.
It is a brutal journey.
It's a brutal journey.
So there's a few things to touch on here. Okay. What's the most spicy one?
Oh, geez. We have to do spicy.
There's a lot of spicy. Okay.
Let's do spicy. Let's do real spicy. We're about
okay, real spicy then.
Yeah, let's just go ham.
Okay, this is going to be, we might roast some people then.
Oh, okay. I'm ready.
There was a Reddit thread about, Professor Akali? He's a huge YouTuber. He's like Akali One Trick.
Oh, okay, really? Yeah.
And
what's his content like? Is it like montage content
it's
or
just like,
educational?
He's just like a streamer.
Okay.
He's just kind of like shitty content. It's not really educational. He says it's educational, but it's really not.
Okay.
And he's not even that good of a player. He's like D2 max on like NA. But he says he's like rank 1 Akali and shit like that. And his titles, right?
Yeah, of course.
And he recently was doing an Iron to Challenger.
Yep.
Quote, Iron to Challenger content series.
Okay.
And he got a bought account, he purposely lost games on the account to go all the way to Iron and then make a piece of content, rank 1 Akali smurfing in Iron.
I don't like that.
And he got obliterated on Reddit, man.
Yeah.
Like he got fucked.
That's not good.
And it just goes to show, and it's so funny. And I was literally looking at his YouTube, and there's all these people that just like completely disregard that actually just happened, and they like still back him up.
He's
and,
hardcore
like,
fans.
He has hardcore fans. When like it just fascinates me that there's so many of these YouTube. And again, I'm not saying this in an egotistical way, but just in terms of just straight quality of content. I can't even resonate why someone would watch these people's content where it's like, I think Iron, these unranked to challenger. So I got peer pressure to make a few videos. I did 3 videos in an unranked to challenger series, and I was playing in silver and gold, trying to play noob champions as well. I didn't even feel comfortable playing my best champs. I played like Lux, played like random champions, low elo champions. Played 3 games. I'm like, I don't want to ever smurf. This is terrible. This is ruining other people's game experience. Even if I were to show you how I win, that's not going to be how you win. You're actually not learning anything from watching this, period. Yes, people can say, oh, it's cool because it shows how do people carry and stuff, but it doesn't matter because my micro is at a level that you're never going to be, it's going to take you years to get to. My game knowledge is, again, years ahead of you. My matchup knowledge is years ahead of you. There's so many elements on my game that it's not realistic. You can't copy this. And I think Iron, these unranked to challenger, this shitty content series, This bad content
I mean,
in general.
You got to think about the motivation behind it. I mean, that gets the views, that gets the money, gets the clicks. You know, it's his livelihood. I mean, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. You know, it's like that's all he can do these days. That gets the clicks. You know, you have the luxury. You can do educational content because you're challenger and you've got experience of the coach. But yeah, I would say overall, it's not good for. I mean, he's just ruined a lot of players' experiences.
You saw the match history. It was literally like 30 losses into games in order to get to iron.
Yeah. He might have literally made someone like quit.
He could have. Yeah, he literally could have made someone quit.
Like let's say it's someone's first time into ranked, and like this person's like this, and he's just getting flamed and stuff. It's like,
or even like this guy who actually has to verse this guy in iron, a beginner.
That too, yeah.
It could literally be your dad playing the game for the first time, and now he versus this guy, a D1 Akali, and gets like killed 30 times. It's like, oh, screw this game. Why would I want to play this game?
Yeah. Is this what every game's going to be like?
Like, what the hell?
I'd rather play something else.
Terrible.
Yeah, it is.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
No. And there's so many elements that are terrible about it. This is the thing. It's not just about just ruining those people's games. It's like the complete lack of empathy for everyone around you. It's the mindset of, I'm making this to get, like, to help anyone, just to make money and get clickbait.
Yeah.
There are so many elements, and it's just sending the wrong message. It's just sending the wrong message out to the league community.
But it's good that they called the league community, called him out for it, right? That's what the Reddit thread was like. Was it? Yeah. Was it very big, or was there? It was
pretty big. Yeah, there was a lot of hate. There was a lot of hate. But then I looked on like the actual video. It was like 50-50 likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that liked it.
Yeah.
This guy has like 850,000 subscribers.
Wow. Yeah. And that's the message he's sending out.
This is a guy who has that big of an audience. That's what he's doing.
This is what I do review for those type of influencers. They do have a responsibility to the community.
You have a responsibility. You are a massive role model, regardless if you want it or not. It's like Joe Rogan, right? The Joe Rogan experience. He doesn't want that responsibility, but he stepped up to the plate. He's now aware of it, and he had to do this crazy apology because he gave the wrong information or something.
Yeah.
That's just a responsibility.
Yep.
With great power comes great responsibility. It's the same thing.
Did he respond at all?
Yeah, he did something, and he was like, I looked at his thing, but he still wasn't really owning up to it.
Got it. It's sort of just like a cop out.
Yeah, like shifting the blame.
The typical YouTube apology video.
Yeah, it was a genuinely, I don't like to use the word cringe, but it was genuinely quite cringe. Okay. And like, I have nothing against the guy personally.
Yeah.
But it's like, come on, man, you got to be aware of what message you're trying to push here. And it hurts. It really hurts, man. And I think this is, for me, I'm hoping what this Reddit thread really brought about is just to bring awareness on the poor quality of content out there on YouTube. But it gets clicks. It gets clicks.
That's at the end of the day, nothing can change because
these people still clicking and watch it.
Yeah, they will still watch it.
It hurts, man. It really hurts. And like yes, people are gonna say, "Oh, you're just jealous because this guy has 850,000 subscribers."
Curtis only has 70,000,
and like some of my videos have like 2,000 views and shit like that. Yes, there's obviously an element of like, okay, if these people watch this video, then. But again, he can just hone in on being a full entertaining streamer without having to do
without ruining people's experience.
He can be. I don't want him to be. He doesn't have to be an educational streamer or a content creator. He can just purely be entertainment. Play a bit of games in Diamond Elo. Even like Diamond 4 is completely fine. Have fun, play the game, show your personality. Don't go and ruin everyone else's games. So this is more of a vent, I guess, or a rage to all the Smurfs out there ruining people's games and the unranked challenger bullshit content series. And yeah.
Yep, I agree. I think that it's not good. Doesn't send a good message. And as you said, with great power comes great responsibility. 850,000 subscribers. That's pretty big influence.
Pretty big. It's huge. Anyway.
That was pretty quick. Let's do another one of yours.
Okay, I'll do another one of mine. All right. So, Rekkles. There was a quote from Rekkles recently.
Interesting.
He says this in an interview. "I am the most consistent player you can find, but I'm also the most consistent at not pushing myself. And I think I'm holding myself back, and I've realized that recently."
Ooh, interesting.
Now, first of all, we have spoke about Rekkles in the past, just little conversations back and forth between me and you, saying how you can tell he's a deep thinker and he overcomplicates a lot of things. And he's obviously battling with a lot of demons, I think, mentally.
Yeah.
And what's your take on this?
That specific quote?
I'm the most consistent player you can find, but I'm also the most consistent at not pushing myself. What do you think about just that whole thing about pushing yourself? What does this mean? What's your take on it?
I would say that's probably really common for a lot of pro players, to be honest.
Do you think that's just him getting comfortable?
I would say, yeah. He's had a lot of success in his career. Is there an element of it where maybe in his mind, EU can no longer win worlds? Like that. That's the first thing that I think about. Is like he just doesn't think he has it to be the world championship best player, right?
Yeah. Do you think there's doubt in his mind?
Yeah, there must be a level of doubt because again, I think of all the. Obviously everyone has doubt. Even the greatest athletes of all time.
Yeah.
But like they never get there because they're just putting in the work, the effort. They understand they just push like the Kobe Mamba, Mamba mentality and stuff, right?
Mamba mentality, yeah.
Like that's just not a thing that comes up. It's like. Like Kobe Bryant was never not consistent in pushing himself. That was just him, a lifestyle.
That was just his standard.
That's just his standard, And maybe Rekkles has never really had a standard that was, I'm going to be the greatest player of all time.
Do you think it has something to do with the generation he was brought up in the sense?
Oh, absolutely. I think I talked about
generation of pro players.
The generation of pro players at this current, there's like greatness. Has had to purely come from yourself. You didn't have other people around you. You're saying that, helping you. It was all on you. And it's so difficult. All these like great athletes, like in the current, the last like 30 years, they talk about the Michael Jordans, Tom Brady's. They were in very, very good structured environments that if they had the talent, they had they obviously had to put in the hard work, but they were in the position to accelerate to be one of the greatest of all time. But Faker, no one helps Faker. Literally no one helps Faker. That was all on him.
Yeah.
Like he maybe had some people he like looked up to and stuff, but it wasn't like it was like in traditional sports, right? So I think that, yeah, and this is why as well, think about all the veteran Rekkles is one of the last veteran players left in the current pro scene. Like let's name some.
Well, I got a point here that Cacao has played 9 years as a pro.
Okay. That's
9
impressive.
years.
That's impressive.
Who else has been a long time?
Does Bjergsen fit that category? Or is he more of like the Reggie days? I don't know. He's close on the edge.
He's definitely a veteran, but I don't know how... He's not like Rekkles level.
Okay, let's just try and keep naming a few.
Thinking of ones that I keep playing. Soaz.
Oh, yeah, Soaz. Yeah.
Impact.
Yep.
Impact won Worlds in Season 3.
That's true.
Core JJ's played for quite a while. Jensen's been around for quite a long time.
That's true.
He was Incarnation before that. He's an old school player. Double Lift, obviously.
Yep, Double Lift. Who's all the people on like Cloud9? Sneaky's not a player anymore. But, yeah.
Done, kind of. I swear there's some more people from EU that I can't think of off the top of my head.
But how crazy... But let's just think about that. This is only the last... Season 3 was how many years ago? 7 years ago, right? We could probably literally count. Let's say it's about 20, 15, 20. There's probably no more than 15, 20 players. That's pretty incredible. 7 years, again, comparing it to traditional sports.
Yeah. Well, I just think as well, what made you a pro player in Season 2 doesn't make you a pro player now.
Because it was just such a... I don't view... you could say I played in the pro scene in OS.
Yeah, but it's so different.
I was not a professional player. I was just...
Barely, not even me. Yeah, I was an amateur still. Even when I played
even
pro.
In OPL in 2015,
even in 2016, 2015, yeah, you could call me a pro because I make money off of it and played the pro league, but I still was an amateur because I wasn't my full-time thing. Had an amateur mind, yeah.
It was an amateur environment.
Everything about it was amateur. And I think that what made you a pro... And that's actually the thing with Rekkles. Having that mental baggage of like, look what I achieved by doing what I did.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's the trap.
That's
because
the trap.
He did it all by himself on his own, and obviously the scene's starting to evolve and there's more support stuff and that sort of stuff. Because
you got to evolve so much. And it's very difficult for a human to evolve that much because your ego gets in the way. I think that's the problem with Rekkles. He's like, I've done all this for so long. doing the way I've done it.
I haven't been I haven't won worlds.
And like it's so difficult to take responsibility for that. It's very difficult because then you have to think like, okay, how can I take things to the next level? But you're already getting such good results. Like he's made like nearly every worlds, right? He's played nearly every season he's played. He's basically made worlds, or he's come top 2.
He's probably also very comfortably financially at the moment as well.
Yeah, has a shit ton of money.
There's not that push.
It's so difficult for him to make that push. Like, why put himself through that so much more pain?
Because also as well, he's done it before and he hasn't got the results, and it's like I just can't do that again.
And he made the grand final of 20. What was that?
28.
No, season 8 or 9.
2018.
Season 8.
Season 8. Yeah.
Yeah, they made the grand final, right? And he's thinking like the way I conducted myself then, he probably wasn't still pushing himself to the absolute limit, and he still had great results.
Oh no, but my point is maybe he did, but he still didn't make it, and that just hurts. It's like I did so much sacrifice. Maybe he completely got rid of his social life, all that sort of stuff. Is like I just can't do that again.
Yeah,
that's just too hard, you know. And this is why I think it's so important for players to start young, because I think that being your pro career is all about momentum. I think, and think about Faker. I mean, Faker sort of lost momentum from season 3 to season 4. But like he was still like one of the best players. He was still the best player in the world, even in season 4, even though he didn't make worlds, right? Because you got to just be just on. You know, it's like once you get good, you got to stay good.
You got to stay good.
Because if you
that's
drop
what
off,
I think Doublelift messed up big time. I reckon Doublelift could have easily been one of the greatest players of all time. Yeah. If he really like stuck it through.
I think there's so many rare examples of player best of all time. Got bad, back to best of all time. That doesn't exist, does it?
So hard to do. I mean, no, it happened with... Who did that happen with? Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, he was the best. Yeah. And didn't he, like, he had that whole scandal thing, come back and he won, like, a tournament.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then... Yeah.
Tiger Woods is, like, a freak, though. Yeah, he's like, beyond, like...
I'd say, but in general, there's not many examples of that.
Very hard.
That's really hard, you know?
I mean, even, like, Mike Tyson... No, who's the other one? The boxer, the other boxer, the white one... The English guy, Tyson Fury, I'm pretty sure he was like at his prime, put on a bunch of weight, quit, and then come back and then won again. Yeah. So Tyson Fury.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd love to know what was his goal. Like, I mean, you know, he must have had insane drive.
No. So what happened? He had like a life-changing experience. He was like a drug, like an alcoholic.
Got it.
And he was like just depressed as hell. And he was driving while drunk one night, really fast on like a highway. And like going ridiculous, like we're talking 250 k's an hour, and he was like, "I'm gonna kill myself," and he was like just put his foot down on the pedal essentially, and had like this life changing moment. He's like, "What am I doing?" And then like slowed down, and then like had his full shifter mentality, and then got back into training, lost all weight, went back and became the world champion or something like that.
So you need some sort of... So you're saying Rekkles needs some sort of life-changing experience?
I mean, I don't know, man. I think Rekkles needs to like really question like what he's trying to do. And like you said, he said he's only realized this recently. He's not pushing himself.
That's a problem.
Because it has to come from you. It can't come from anyone else. Like if you're at the top level, you have to have that really tough conversation with yourself. Am I actually giving this my all? Am I willing to do what it takes?
Or am I just happy doing enough, but I have a good social life? Like maybe he's happy. Like he's like, I'm pretty good.
Well, think about Kobe Bryant, what he did, what he had to sacrifice.
Oh, the sacrifice.
The sacrifice required to achieve what he did was unbelievable. People don't remember the sacrifice.
That's the thing. Greatness requires sacrifice. I mean, like, you know, he talks about like he did not switch off for 20 years. Yeah. Every day. He even mocked pro players going on vacations with other pro players. He said he never did that. Yeah. Like, come on, like you wouldn't think at year 10 you'd be like, all right, Kobe, you know, this is self-talk. Yeah. You've done pretty well. Have a vacation. Nah, he did not. He did not do any of that until he retired. That's the Mamba mentality. Yeah. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, again, this is what I say. Like, there's no pro players right now that I could say are at that level. You know, but that's what I'm excited to see, and that's what I want to be a part of, is helping that next generation. We're going to see that.
Yeah, we will see that. Yeah, we will see that.
And that's when it's going to get exciting.
Because we're only still at the start of esports. That's what's exciting about esports. We're at like the start now. We're just getting off the surface.
Yeah. I'll say that player right now is born. He's probably like 13, 14. Could be like some Korean guy, some Chinese guy. Could be some NA guy, some new guy. Yeah. But I'm confident that person exists right now.
Yeah. I mean, we're even kind of seeing a glimpse of it in OS right now. Like the OS rank 1 player at the moment is a 17-year-old kid.
Awesome. Yeah.
You know, and like, yes, he's like a cocky little kid, but he's like got the recipe. If he had like a great, like if he would have spent time with great role models and great coaching staff, Like, you could get rid of like the immaturity. You can.
They'll come with time.
Yeah,
that's all good.
The cockiness is good.
It's
to have.
good. Yeah.
You just got to harness it and really frame it in the correct way. Like this young kid, yes, he's a cocky kid, but and he'll piss people off, and he's even slightly toxic, whatever. But that doesn't matter. Like, you can fix that, and he just needs great role models, great coaching staff, and he could be an amazing player. That's what the great kids are going to look like. Some random mechanically gifted 17-year-old kid who hits rank 1 on the server,
thinks he's top shit.
Thinks he's like the best player in the world, and then he gets
yeah, I mean that's what I would say. I mean all the best players that we know today, they're all incredibly good at solo.
And one of the great thing about this guy is he plays like top jungle mid.
That's incredible.
Really well.
Yeah.
And like that, you don't see that often with a young kid. Just because he's mechanically really good, he understands how to win games.
Well, what's his name?
Kisei.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
he's rank 1.
Did he just come out this season? Just pop up?
He's been playing for quite a few seasons.
Yeah.
He got like challenger in season 8, I think.
Got it.
But like he wasn't that good. And this was the first season where he's like really taken things to the next level. And I actually think that's one thing, by the way, you can get much better younger now because you have access to resources. Like, imagine when we were younger, we didn't watch guides. You didn't have information.
I had to figure it out myself, man.
We had to figure it out.
Yeah.
The game was like so new. We had to just figure out what worked. There was no information. But if you're like a really switched on dedicated kid now, you can get great coaches like us. You literally get coached by us who have had years.
Settle down there, Cody.
Okay, well, like think about that though. You're a 15-year-old kid and get coached by a guy who's played the game for 10 years.
Yeah, you can definitely get some.
Like, what the hell, man? That's overpowered.
Yeah.
That's broken by concept.
Yeah.
As a 15-year-old kid.
And but that's great. I think that's what will breed.
That's what's gonna. And then by the time that guy hits 18, he's gonna be so incredibly.
And that's
good.
what Rekkles missed out on.
Yeah, Rekkles missed out on that. Yeah, I mean, he's still an amazing player.
Absolutely.
But, he's not going to be at the same level as what these young kids are going to be.
The next generation. But that's really good. Was that on Reddit or something?
That was on Reddit. How cool is that?
That's really good.
And how interesting is that?
That's really rare. A player would admit that.
Yeah, it is.
Props to him.
Props to him. I respect Rekkles a lot. And I thought that was interesting as well. How Caedral's been 9 years.
Yeah, that's incredible.
9
I didn't know that.
years as a pro.
Did he win LCK?
He played pretty well.
Has he won LCK?
Did he play for KT? Was it KT?
I don't think he ever has he?
I don't know about his history. I really don't know. I know he was a legend, but I don't really know his story.
Yeah.
Can't really comment.
Okay.
But he played still well, like in a really hard role. Jungle's a hard role to play for that long. The game evolves so much as a jungler. You got to really be on the ball. And he played pretty well. Yes, they didn't make groups, but I think he played decently. It's pretty cool.
All right.
What's your next? What's on the chopping block here?
Nathan's
notes.
I wanted to quickly touch on so there's been a lot of season changes coming up for next season, items, but what really, I think you made a tweet about it as well, the removal of duo queue for high elo. I think it's such a good change.
Yeah,
like, it's just such a good change.
So many people are gonna actually change. Like the ranks are gonna look so different. In
that,
all the
like
seasons.
Again, going back to, I think that makes it makes the high elo more competitive, just way more competitive.
The competitive integrity of the game is just increased tenfold, in my opinion.
Yeah. I was just thinking about this. It's crazy. Like, why could you duo?
It's bullshit.
It's crazy. It took so long for that change to get into.
I honestly think the only reason they kept it is because they viewed it as if, like, from a competitive standpoint, like duo bot lane.
Yeah.
I think they're specifically bot lane.
It's the only way you can justify
it. It is a little bit. I mean, it's actually no. It's actually not. Let's actually break this down. As a support player, right? Everyone's saying
the synergy, the duo bot synergy.
Well, this is going to ruin Soloq for supports.
Okay, is that what people say?
No, but when you think about it, it doesn't.
Dude, what the hell? There's so many Soloq supports that are like literally can get top 10.
High elo. No, but let's actually even break this down. Think about how matchmaking works, right?
Okay, yep.
Every single game, you got to view it as if you're the key contributing factor to determining whether this game is a win or loss.
Yep.
Okay. Yes, mid lane may have more impact as a role, but that's not important because, again, you're going to have everyone's solo queue. So it's a solo queue mid laner versus solo queue mid laner. And they're roughly going to be the same skill level because the matchmaking now is much more balanced. And that's actually why the queue times have been much longer, by the way, because the matchmaking is much more balanced.
Yep.
So let's just say the matchmaking is much more balanced now. There's longer queue times. You don't I think a support surely can get high elo still, right? Because the problem was before is that the theory is, mid lane has way more impact. But if you are very good at support, you can impact mid lane a lot.
Absolutely.
You can.
What do you mean these days? Because like support's Romian, man. Like,
I think support's one of the most.
I think support's one of the highest impact roles.
I think it could actually be. I think it goes jungle, mid, then support. That's in order. Jungle, mid, then support.
Yeah, and then which one's last? ADC or top? Top's last, right? Yeah.
Oh.
What do you reckon?
Oh, it's hard.
ADC.
Oh,
It's tough. Maybe they're even. Maybe they're even because ADC's come out mid game.
I honestly think
ADC's
it depends on the meta, but it depends on the top meta as well. Because there's some games where like it's like Camille versus Fiora, and they can like completely take over the game.
Yeah.
And then there's some metas where it's like you get like a Draven bot lane who just like 1v9s or a Kalista or something like that. But it's hard to say. It really is hard.
I'd say they're about even based on meta.
But yeah, I don't even think supports will struggle in solo queue. I think it's actually a misconception. It's actually one of the biggest invisible narratives in League, by the way. In low elo, everyone says, support's the worst role. I can't carry a support.
You know when I level up a new account, I actually play support because no one knows how to play support.
It's so easy.
Dude, I actually hard carry.
It's hard carry. It's so easy. Like, support is...
You just carry the lane.
And it's the other way around because everyone wants to play support in high elo. And it's actually hard to get support because everyone knows it's such a high impact role.
Yeah.
So if you're a laner, everyone puts secondary support because it's actually a high impact role.
Yeah.
And even in previous seasons, like Marta and stuff, he's like consistently been high elo. And they got high elo. Marta was like always top 10 from like playing Thresh, just like 1v9ing. But anyway, because people only view supports as like vision. You know, you just vision and help your AD
carry through vision, man.
Yeah. No, I just think roaming. I think you carry through roaming as a support.
Pressure.
If you're very good at understanding how lanes play out and understanding jungle tracking and understanding, like your panning of your camera and see heavy trading mid and like understanding waves, like you can really be high impact. That's why Pantheon support's so good. You can just like blow up the game if you really want to.
Pantheon set.
But yeah, I think duo that is probably one of the biggest changes. I actually had that someone actually mentioned me to talk about that, and I think it's one of the best changes Riot's ever done.
Do you reckon it needs to be removed for all of solo queue? What do you reckon?
Well, maybe the theory is they want people to have more fun in lower elos. So it's only in Challenger it's removed, right?
I believe
it's a Master Pass,
yeah.
I mean, I personally...
My hot take is I think it should be removed.
Yeah, it should be removed from all. I agree.
Yeah.
I personally think it should be removed because it just ruins the game.
And that'll be so good because it gets rid of Tariq Yi boosting and stuff like that.
Well, it gets rid of who has the best strategy. It's not who has the best strategy, it's who's the best players. Better player.
I hope that change comes in. I think
it's confirmed, right?
Yeah, it's confirmed for that. No, yeah, but I'm talking about. I hope that they actually remove it for all eventually. Elos. Again, that just helps the integrity.
If they should just have a duo queue ladder or flex queue or duo queue, whatever. Yeah. And then solo queue. That's it.
Just flex. I'd say just flex.
Just flex and solo.
And solo, yeah.
Because flex is a joke, man. Honestly.
You know, I was actually looking at flex. Like, I was just curious, like all these challenger players.
Yeah.
Guess what the highest rank they are? Guess what the average rank they are in solo queue? Challenger flex player.
I have no idea. Like Diamond.
Yeah, just Diamond.
Diamond players.
Diamond 2, Diamond 1, I think was the highest.
Yeah, they're not good players.
Yeah,
they're not good players. Or they play 5 stacks, or they just do like weird strategies. Like, because they just want the rewards. That's why they do it.
Got it.
They play flex queue because it's easy to get the challenger rewards as in flex queue.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of like Chinese boosters who'd 5-man stack and get like. And they even like win trade in flex queue because the queue times are very like...
Got it. That makes sense. They all challenger, those win trade with each other to try and get the...
So easy for them. Such a shame. But
let's do another one of yours.
Another one? Okay, we'll do one more here. I got 2 interesting ones. One's a short one, and then we'll finish off with another one, all right?
Okay, yep.
So the short one. I thought this was an interesting thing. I had no idea about this. You know, Kai'Sa was the last new champion that was released without any form of hard CC, and she was released on the 7th of March 2018.
Fascinating.
The only chance with any form of hard CC that was in 7th of March 2018, and before that it was Lucian, and Lucian's been one of the oldest champs. How crazy is that? So what else? I was trying to really dissect what this means and what are Riot trying to do, and I think what this means is that they want the game to be more oriented around playmaking and fast paced. They don't want it to be like
damage,
rather than just damage and like, because again, it is much harder to balance champions that are pure damage.
It is.
Way harder.
Yeah.
Because it's like why Graves is so hard to balance all these champions. Because pure damage means that they have to, because they have no CC, they either have to have really
a lot of damage.
Have a lot of damage, and then that's where runes can like really just break the champion, like phase rush.
Give utility to a already amazing amount of damage.
Dude, mythic items with the utility that these mythic items are going to bring. That's where it's going to be very difficult for Riot to
the new items
balance the game.
Scare me, man.
It actually scares me. Like,
I saw some thing saying that some clip of a 10k crit or something like that.
There's some crazy items, dude. One of them gives invisibility, dude. There's some crazy ones, man, that can actually compensate for people's kits.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the game's going to explode when it kind of comes out. There's going to be so much broken stuff.
Yeah.
So many weird builds that gives you a free win.
This is your opportunity.
Yeah,
to innovate.
If you're a genius,
yeah,
and you really understand, I actually am going to do a video, by the way, on itemization.
The new items.
Yeah. It's going to take me a while to gather all my information, but I am going to do a breakdown of the new items. So you have to wait for that one. But yeah, what's going to happen is it's going to explode the game. People are going to innovate. There's going to be crazy builds, and there's going to be some really unique strategies that are just like unbelievably broken. Then Riot are going to have to like remove the item or hot fix it or change the runes. Like, it's going to be crazy. And these champions that are pure damage, they're the ones that are going to benefit the most. That's my theory.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
So that's why. So if you see any champion with a shit ton of damage,
yeah,
because all they need is utility. That's like that Gale Force item that is a gap closer. Things like that. Like, they're going to be really good on certain champions. Yeah, but I just found that super interesting. And the Kai'Sa was the last one. And I'm happy they're doing it. Yes, that sounds a bit weird, but I'm very happy that...
I think that champions do need some utility form kits. I thought it was really interesting. I think the center one's really interesting. The whole... You group on them, you give like people untarget. Like, I like stuff like that. It's cool. Really creative.
Unique. And I actually think it's better for playmaking and makes the game more exciting to watch. Because if you just have like a lot of...
it's like, oh, here he comes. Like, I guess
it's like Yi and stuff. They're so... like gross. Tryndamere, Yi, all these champions are just garbage. I mean, and they're either 1v9 or they're just useless.
Vayne's cool to watch, but Vayne is condemned.
Yeah, he's condemned. It's just hard CC.
Yeah.
But it makes the watching competitive with these champions way more exciting as well. You know, like big Gnar ult or a big like a Azir ult and things like this crazy stuff. And other point.
Wait, do you like CC that is point and click or something? It's like a skill shot.
Nah, skill shot. It should always be a skill shot.
Yeah, point and click CC is not
point and click skill shot is.
You mean point and click CC?
Sorry, yeah. Point and click CC is a very difficult thing to balance as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably one of the main reasons why Twisted Fate is a good champion.
Yeah.
It's not even about the ult. It's literally the point and click CC. If Twisted Fate's CC was skill shot, even, yes, you have this crazy...
Dude, the champion would suck.
The champ would just suck completely. It'd be like the worst champ in the game. Yeah. And, I actually want to rant what I was ranting to you about the Crumbz quotes.
Okay.
Because I'm so offended because I'm a Twisted Fate player.
Yes.
I literally, I'm not even exaggerating. This is the quote I heard from Crumbz on cast at Worlds. It was about when there was the Legacy versus LGD game. And Tali was playing Twisted Fate. And he hadn't actually used his ultimate in the game yet. And Crumbz was saying how... there's no point in playing Twisted Fate if you don't use Destiny. You might as well just play a control mage. I'm like, that just it made my mind explode because, as you all know, the Twisted Fate players out there, it's not about using the ultimate. It's the threat of the ultimate that is the most important part of the kit. You actually want to avoid using Twisted Fate ult as much as you can because what happens whenever you hover out of vision, you allow your teammates to move up. That's actually the main reason why in that game, I think that's the game that had the Draven. That was the main reason that the enemy bot lane had to respect so much and why Draven got so many plates a lot of the time was because Twisted Fate was hovering out of vision and then the enemy has to respect. And it forces, even though Twisted Fate is not in the lane, sometimes it forces the enemy AD carry to take cleanse, you know? Because it's literally this AoE ultimate.
Dictating someone's summoner spell based on a champion.
Based on a champion.
Yeah.
No champion. There's very little champions in the game that have a point and click stun and have this ability to teleport anywhere on the map. Yes, you're not using it, and that may be good or bad. That's not important. It's the threat of the ultimate which makes the champion good. And the fact that I heard that statement from, like, again... with great power comes great responsibility. You are broadcasting this information to hundreds of thousands, millions of people around the world.
And everyone's like, I got to use my TF ult off cooldown. It's the same as Blitzcrank Q and Morgana Q as well.
It's the threat of the ability.
There's a big difference between someone that uses it off cooldown and someone that holds it for the right moments.
If you play support, if you're playing Pyke, Blitz, Morgana, the less you throw the ability, you watch the best Morgs Blitzes, they barely throw the hook.
Yeah.
The best Blitzcranks will literally sit there and walk in your face, create space for their Eddie carry,
and deny CS.
The Eddie carry gets to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And then they just win the lane through that. You don't actually throw the ability, because as soon as you throw that ability, your threat's gone. Your champ's useless, and then they can walk up, thin the wave, do whatever they want. The best Blitzcranks will allow you to slow build waves, crash it under tower, then you use hook under tower to threaten them, and destroy them. So that blew my mind, man. Casters, you got to be, and that ties perfectly into my next point, which was Caedral, dude. Caedral popped off as a caster. It actually shocked me, man. So
what did you know about Caedral before? Like Jungle for XL?
Jungle for XL.
Pretty like young. How old is he?
I actually don't know. No idea.
He's like, he must be pretty young, right? Sort of like newish to the scene.
I'd say he's like 20, 21.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. There's an appreciation thread.
Yeah, it was an appreciation thread on Reddit about him. And props to him, man. Being a caster at Worlds, when you haven't really done casting before, that is impressive. Yeah. And how well he articulated his thoughts and his speech in general.
Very like slow,
very knowledgeable, calm, cool, collected. Really impressed me. And he obviously has a natural propensity to be a caster. But it got me thinking, like, what makes a good caster?
Okay, what makes a good caster? Ooh.
Hey, what qualities? For you, who's your favorite caster?
My favorite caster? I've never really thought about this. I mean, I'm always biased towards, like, Papa Smithy because... yeah,
he's a banger.
Well, because he's Osa as well, and, like, his journey's just been awesome.
Yeah, he's a grinder, dude. He grinded.
I do really like Captain Flowers.
Captain Flowers is hype, man.
He's really good. He's great for the sport.
I think he's exactly what League needed.
Yeah.
It's like he just reminds you of like the classic like American football hype.
Yeah.
Like I love it. And I always think of that one, the Faker Shockwave finds them all. Like the way he's like so hype.
It's good.
It's so good.
Yeah, Captain Flowers for me, now that I think about it, definitely.
So hype.
Yeah.
I actually really liked Deficio when he was a caster.
Yeah.
He was one of
I
the
like
first,
the way he approaches it. Yeah.
He was one of the first that was genuinely knowledgeable. I think he innovated. He was one of because remember he became a caster at the end of season 3. So he became a caster in 2014. And he was one of the first. Him and Monte Cristo, I think, were two of the earliest.
But Deficio had an advantage over Monte Cristo because he played the game.
Level, yeah, he played the game at a high level.
Monte Cristo was like the analyst dude.
But I really enjoyed Monte Cristo's
Monte Cristo
analysis.
Doa. That was
one of the
good
greatest.
times,
I think Monte Cristo Doa would probably be the greatest duo casters in League history.
Currently, yeah, absolutely.
In my opinion,
yeah,
like they were the best.
Those are the OGN days, man.
The OGN days with Monte Cristo Doa. I really miss those days. I think Monty will come back though to League.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Definitely.
I mean, he's already slowly coming back. He's got to what's the word? Build a relationship with Riot again.
He's got a network.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Monty number 1 with Deficio, Papa Smithy again, a beautiful analytical mind. I'm so impressed with Papa Smithy because he was never good at the game.
That's true.
But his knowledge of the game is so good. And that just props to him. Same as Monte Cristo. They weren't high elo players, but they studied VODs and really refined. I guess Monte Cristo had the StarCraft background.
Yeah.
So he like really understood high level gaming. But props to them, dude, for having that beautiful, like, to be able to not sound like an idiot, even though you're not a pro player, is very impressive.
It's hard to do.
And what I loved about Monty is he spoke to pro players. He asked pro players questions. Props to him.
Oh, dude. As a caster, you absolutely have to do that.
I love that.
Even if you're super knowledgeable about the game. I mean, I learn from players all the time, dude. I learn from platinum players sometimes, like
for sure.
But everyone knows something about the game. The game's super complicated.
And I mean, I'm really not a fan. I mean, I hated Crumbz's cast the other night.
Yep.
I thought it was terrible.
Hate's a strong word because you really thought it was just
no.
straight up
I was literally saying it was misinformation,
Yeah.
and his sentences were literally nonsensical.
Yeah.
Like if you listen to the words or the sentences he was saying during the cast, he was fumbling his words because he didn't actually know what he was talking about. He would say sentences. It's like business talk sometimes.
Got it.
They say a lot of words, but it means nothing.
Yeah. That's always the trap. But that's always hard. I mean, think about it. You can't have dead space as a commentator. So
Monty and Doa.
They would not talk for a little bit. They actually didn't talk for like a period of time.
They talked about genuinely funny stories.
Yeah, in between. Got it. That's true.
That's the great thing about casters.
That's the thing you need to do.
They just don't talk about the game. You don't have to talk about the game.
Yeah.
Monty and Doa would riff off something while there was a lull state in the game and talk about like Halo or something, you know, or like StarCraft. They'll talk about something that's related to the game, a concept. And tangent off it, and then bang, straight back into the game.
Yeah.
Say, who else did that? There was I think Deficio also used to do that. I really liked, but they're the greatest casters. You know, they were the best. That's what it should be. You should be genuinely interested in listening to what they're saying. And I felt like neither of them are knowledgeable. You need one knowledgeable person as well. They had Pastry Time and Crumbz. Crumbz doesn't know shit, man. Like at the end of the day, he's an old school player. He doesn't know enough about the game anymore.
Yeah.
He's not high elo, and he's not really a coach or anything. Not that I know of. And if he's a coach, that's incredibly concerning. I know we have a lot of flame here on Broken by Concept, but it's just the reality.
Hot takes, yeah.
And again, you need one knowledgeable.
Yeah.
You need one great play-by-play.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what they call them, right? Play-by-play?
Play-by-caster and color caster.
Color caster. Color caster, they just fill in the gaps, essentially, right?
They're like an analyst person.
Analyst, right. So neither of them... I mean, Pastry was decent at the play-by-play.
Yeah, Pastry's a good play-by-play.
He's decent play-by-play, but then it felt like he got dragged down big time by Crumbz. So, Riot, get your shit together. At least Caedral... even as his first time as a caster, better than these people who've had years of experience. I mean, but Crumbz was on the casting couch. Yeah, it was the casting desk, whatever. At Worlds in like 2017, 16.
It was like Prophet Crumbz. He would like predict things. Yeah. It was insane.
Yeah.
He had his prime, and now he's...
Yeah, that's when he did know a bit about the game.
Yeah, he did.
And then he's gotten complacent.
Yeah.
He doesn't study. You can tell he doesn't study the game or study the teams or study the meta or know what actually works. Okay? Concerning. Very concerning.
All right, well, I think that's the perfect place to end it, Curdy, on a controversial hot topic, hot take.
Yeah. We roast people here at Broken by Concept. That's what we're here to do.
Housekeeping stuff. We've set up our new YouTube channel. We actually didn't realize how many people actually still don't know about it. If you've made it to the end of this podcast, you probably know about the channel.
Spread the word.
But what we've done, what we talked about, Curtis, was we got an email address.
Oh yeah, we got an email.
And we
should have done this at the start.
We should have done it at the start.
Is there a way we can edit this at the start?
No, we'll just talk about it at the start of the next one.
Okay. So we'll talk about it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we want to hear from you guys. What do you guys want to hear us talk about? If you guys have any like problems you want us to solve for you.
What we want to do with this Broken by Concept, maybe we do like a segment of each episode is we want to answer questions from the community. Like a Q&A section like I do in our guide. We do it in our guides, right? Q&A section. It could be about anything. It doesn't even really have to be... It could be slightly related to League. It could be like a mental problem that's kind of started in League, but you realize that it's kind of flowed outside the game. It could be anything. Something that you think would help a lot of other people, or even we could help you, just you. Because if you have a problem, like
struggling with League, it can be struggling with real life.
If you are having that problem, it's likely other people are having the same problem.
Yeah.
So we have an email. It's in the description.
Yep, you'll add it in the description.
In the description, and you can send your questions there.
What's the email? It's for people listening on Spotify and stuff. They won't see it.
I think it's Broken by Concept.
brokenbyconceptshow@gmail.com. Yeah.
Will we do it next episode? Do you want to do it? It depends if we get
questions. Depends, if we get questions.
If we get questions, we might maybe introduce it into the next episode. But
we'll definitely read every single email though.
We'll read them all regardless.
Yeah.
But we might only pick 2 or 3, whatever.
We'll try and do as many as we can.
But it might be a failure. It might not work. I mean, it might just be shit.
Yeah.
And we'll try it out and then see how it sticks, and love to hear feedback from you guys about that. Until then, we'll see you on episode 7.
Episode 7, Broken by Concept. We'll see you then. Good hustle, Curtis.
Catch up.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.